YouTube, welcome to the top 16 of the Meta Weekly. Every single week, we will be streaming on this Thursday for the New Year anniversary. New Dark Magician, new Vanquish Soul K9 top tier, new Sprite deck for new players to get for free so you can share your duel code with other people on the stream or on YouTube to get your free deck and extra goodies, and also possibly maybe new Overframe Dark Magician, new Overframe Blue Eyes. They did unhit Blue Eyes and they're changing something with Blue Eyes in game, so that tells me that new Blue Eyes cards are coming, and the only new Blue Eyes cards that could come would be the crazy new Overframe cards that I think would push Blue Eyes to top tier and also push Dark Magician to top tier. So we'll find out all that good stuff on this Thursday. But before that, we have triple freaking D at the bottom with top tier best deck Dracotail at the top. Oh, Dracotail's so oppressive, DK. I don't like Yu-Gi-Oh right now. This is the final tournament of the preseason of Master Duel. What should happen is Dracotail will no longer be a 43 power level deck, which is not healthy for the game. It should hopefully drop down to 20, as it will have to share its power with Vanquish Soul K9. And with Vanquish Soul K9, the theory is Vanquish Soul K9 will beat Dracotail. Dracotail will beat Yummy, and Yummy will beat Vanquish Soul K9. So then Yummy will become a better deck. We also are now showing engines on the tier list. You could hide it if you want to. Otherwise, you could show it if you want to see that the Mitsurugi engine itself is very freaking powerful. Also, the Yummy engine combined with the Yummy Mitsurugi and the Pure Yummy and the other good stuff. And then you could click on the engine itself. You click on the engine, it will show you the decks that are contributing to its power level. Mitsurugi Orcus, Ryzeal Mitsurugi, the core engine cards, all that good stuff. And then on the deck breakdowns, it will further show you other decks that are using Mitsurugi if you were to click on this here. So there you go. Stuff like that. Some great changes to the website. Are you ready for the Meta Weekly? Hajime.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
Now, but watch as long as you can. That greatly supports these events, even if you have us on in the background while you're doing laundry or working out. We're going to start off with a normal summon Malulu, followed up with a Rahu Dracotail. We are ready with the Impulse, Drone Lockbird, and Ghost Spell. Why didn't we activate Impulse? If you activate Impulse early, for the rest of the duel, you can't activate Light, Earth, or Wind monsters. Thus, we possibly want to try to use Droll first before activating Impulse. If not, you could use Droll on your own turn. You could save the Impulse for a Femina or a Malulu on your own turn, being used as a form of disruption. If you feel that they're going to brute force through your hand traps anyway, just save it for the trap. They activate a spell negate trap, you go spell negate it. They also don't draw a card. They want to return back your link with the horn, you go spell negate it. All right, let's do it. No one really plays around Ghost Spell. Now, you generally, on purpose, just through normal gameplay, you put your Bellable effect of Arthalion on the lower chain link, because otherwise you're not playing around anything else. But against other decks, like Triple D, this is going to be devastating. You got to save the Ghost Spell for something like the Necro Slime. If this gets Ghost Spell, then that could be a GG. Now, ideally, we want to set up a negate for that, but with all the other cards in consideration, they also have a Magnum Hunt. So the Magnum Hunt and the Ghost Spell countering the Necro Slime, this is not looking good. We do have Impulse to try to stop it, but there's also, we could Impulse the Femina. The Ghost Spell could stop any of the traps. They could pop any card with the Gulamel. If we try to use our Pendulum Scale or a continuous spell, the Gulamel wiping it away is not a good spot for us. Ooh, let's go. We got negate on both traps, mate. The Ash and the Bell. Let's freaking go. Kepler and Queen are two separate plays. If this play were to be stopped, we'd have the Queen for the follow-up. Dark Contract Gate. Horn is not only getting rid of the Kepler, but enabling the Gulamel. So you gotta think here, do we have a chain link block? Of course, we have Bell or Ash. Bell, negate, and block the Gulamel from stopping the Dark Contract of the gate. Now he's holding the Flame. He could have used Flame to negate the Dark Contract, instead allowing us to search for the Scale Surveyor. Scale Surveyor, special summon, going right away into the Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh is a huge Valor check, no Valor in sight. We're going to now be playing the Queen. Queen is going to Pendulum Summon alongside the Ragnarok. What? No! Can't just surrender? Connection failed? You had a Bestial, a Bell, a Femina, the Flame, which would get negated by the Ash. You had at least 4 freaking disruptions, but I guess your connection failed, sure. Damn. What? You connection failed game 1 and you make no play game 2, but it's okay, you only have 1 brick. We have to play through Nibiru, Fool Loss, Ghost Spell, and an Ash Blossom. We do have Ash for the Fool Loss so that we can actually have a real turn. Let's see what's good. Surveyor is an extender. It's not going to be a main combo starter. It's part of 2 card combos. We're searching for the Zero King. We have the Dark Contract Gate, searching for the Griffin. We now have Queen playing the Eternal onto the field. Once we have 2 Pendulum Scales, you cannot target our monsters with cards like Impermanence. Now, with the Zero King, you want to use Ash on it. That's a big choke point. You Ash this freaking card. Instead, he chain Fool Loss. Ash, negate your Fool Loss mate. Summon the Copper from the deck. So if you're playing against Triple D, not that I'm trying to help you beat Triple D, by negating the Zero King, not only do you deny the monster being summoned from the deck, but now you put them in this awkward spot of what do they have in the field? The Queen is now stuck on the field. And why do you not want her stuck on the field? Help me, Step Brother. I'm stuck in the right pendulum scale. Well, that means Gilgamesh, Step Bro, cannot help you out because this plays pendulum scales from the deck. It plays 2 of them only if they're completely free. So if you're blocking the pendulum scale because you ashed or impulsed the Zero King contract, this is not even a play. You can't summon this. We now have to figure out a way to get rid of the Queen. Now, we do have Scale Surveyor, which if we send this to the graveyard or extra deck, it can return the Queen back, but in many cases, they do get screwed. Lance is going to try to Reborn to pop the Eternal Darkness Reborn. Ghost Spell is going to negate. So now we're going to be safe on our play of Necro. The Necro Slime is going to be able to go through. We have the Solomon, which, oh boy, on the 4th summon, it gets to go through. It's a spell speed 1 search. This would have been a great Nibiru. Now if you Nibiru this, you get to Foolish Burial still. We did not Nibiru, as we then go into a Gilgamesh. So what is the Nibiru choke point with this deck? Well, I could tell you when we're going to be able to negate Nibiru. And that's if when we have a Dark Contract in the graveyard plus a Ragnarok on field. It's a simple link 3. So an additional body plus a Dark Contract engraved. Do we have a Dark Contract? We do not. No contract engraved because the Lance was negated. So now we have to solve the situation of how do we get a contract in graveyard and also perform a link 3 before they Nibiru. Which you could do with the Orthros. Orthros would be a play. You could also Foolish Burial. Like this card right now, if we wanted to, could send a Dark Contract, but the Necro Slime would be better. We send the Necro Slime. Griffin. This negates any hand trap, but right now, it cannot negate. And this is another way to get a Dark Contract engraved, either the Orthros or the itself. So before this resolves, we are Nibiruing. Nibiru, tribute off the Ragnarok. Otherwise, it would have negated the Nibiru. There you go. And now we are going to be triggering the Queen, special summon, destroy the Nibiru, pendulum summon the Ragnarok, reborn back onto the field, the other Ragnarok. We have Necro Slime banishing. This is the play you want to Bestial. This is the play you want to Bell. This is the play that you would even want to Impulse. Stopping the Necro Slime. The problem is, well, DK, you just said use Impulse on Zero King. If you save Impulse for Necro Slime, they're very likely going to have a way to stop your Impulse by the time you wait that long to use it on the Slime. They're going to have the Siegfried. Siegfried will negate the Impulse. Key Tomb, come to me, Femina. Lucius search. We're going to get ready with that Fool Loss as soon as he commits. We're going to chain Femina to the Fool Loss. There's a good reason why you can hold on to your Femina. Wait for the opponent to respond to one of your other card effects. Thus, they draw 1 less card now. Better playing around the Femina. It's a small detail like this where an inexperienced player would shotgun the Femina, get hit by the Fool Loss, then they're going to probably still have to commit to the Branded Fusion, and now the opponent, for no good reason, has an additional +1 card in their hand. All of these small mishaps in unoptimal plays, they add up into losing a duel. We got Veiler, negate a spell, return a monster back, banish from the graveyard. We can now then also Albaz into fusing, and then whatever we fuse into, and the Femina. So this is at least 7 disruption. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Damn. Pot of E, come to me. Draw 2, I don't think so. Flame, negate. Down to 6. All right. We have Urgula to now pop a back row. Not that is an additional disruption. In response, we are going to use Albaz to attempt to fuse with the monster you summon. Now, the Club of the Grave is going to finger the Albaz. Not today. Banish. And we must summon both, thus the Fulos also does not come out. Murakumo with the non-target field wipe. Summoning defense to play around the horn. We do not want it returned back to the hand. And we have the Futsu searching for the Aramasa. We still have our normal summon. Pan will non-target reborn, but the non-target destruction effect is only if it's used for a fusion. If you dealt with a fusion monster, it reborns a non-fusion, which was the Frixel, which then further reborn the Lucius to search our deck and add back the Frixel. Habakiri summons Saji, tributing off the Murakumo for it to reborn back in the field. Now, small detail. Chain link blocking your much better effect of being able to reborn and search to ensure it doesn't get stopped by a ghost spell. So it doesn't get stopped by an Ash Blossom. Search and reborn. Very nice. He did not want to sting it. As we further make Exciton Knight. Exciton, wipe away the field. Valor is going to negate. Now, this is activatable more than once per turn, but only once per chain. Force him to discard a card in addition to using the Valor to ensure that the Valor goes through. Nicely done. And now we follow up with the Mirror. The Exciton did its goal. Its job was to have them waste a card very successfully. And we're still continually summoning to defense because of that Dracotail Horn. We're afraid of them gaining value. We don't want them to draw a card. We don't want them to return our monster back to our hand. Mirror returned back. Let's turn these two into Little Knight. Now, Little Knight can deal with the Horn in the way that if it tries to return the Little Knight back, it'll jump off the field so the Horn does nothing. So because of that, Little Knight does not have to banish the Horn. It pins it down. Reborn the Arthalion. Now we have Faye freaking Mina. Faye, here's what's interesting. The Little Knight thinks she is pinning down Horn, but it goes both ways. The Horn is also pinning down the Little Knight. I can't Little Knight because of Horn, and you can't Horn because I have Little Knight. It's whoever activates first will lose out on their effect. Arthalion targets the Murakumo plus cards in grave. Pan chainlink block from a random ghost spell. Frixel and Pan further setting up. We have 3 sets from the deck. Little Knight, which we can now chain the Horn. Horn, as I said, they both pin each other down. And now we're getting clapped up by this. This is not looking good for Mitsurugi. What the heck happened? We had it until a giant Femina fused up, triple monster effect, non-target destroy with Pan, set 3, triple set. Oh, the card advantage is absolutely insane. Let's add back the Frixel, and I mean, this duel's over. It's over. We have Prayers Reborn to non-target wipe the opposing field, but the Flame can negate the prayers, thus we have nothing. Nada. Zero disruption. Being able to set a Flame during your opponent's turn against Mitsurugi, that's immensely beneficial. Normally setting a Flame is not so good. We're just gonna use Ghost Spell. We're not gonna even flame it up. Now, there's a problem with Ghost Spell. It's different than Ash. If you Ash a prayers, they can't use another prayers. If you Bell the prayers, I now could use another prayers because the Bell negates the activation. So when you're choosing between Ash and Bell, you do want to take that into consideration that they could have a second copy of prayers or have another way to access a second copy. Urgula, say goodbye to the Purification. Kusanagi's gonna add back the food. There's nothing. Just finish the duel. It's over. Kidye, I'm sorry, but Triple D is the epitome of what's wrong with modern Yu-Gi-Oh! I can agree, but I still love it. You know? Well, if you can't beat them, just join them. That's what they say, right? Yup, and I joined the Triple D. I know it's annoying for my opponent to watch me do 10, 20-minute turn combos. I don't care. Now, I'm not trying to push for more of Triple D to be a part of Yu-Gi-Oh! I continually say this myself. Long turn ones is not good, but oh well. Special summon slop that tries to floodgate your opponent out of playing. The Eternal Darkness shouldn't exist. I don't like that randomly floodgates people, but as long as it does exist, I'll be abusing it. Habakiri, we got Fua Loss, which Call by the Grave will make great use of. Instead of fingering the Femina, we finger the Fua. Finger limited to 1, so you do want to be careful with that finger. Let's Mitsurugi Ritual it up. We already have Negate Anything. And the Negate Anything is Negate the Effect, which is better than Negate the Activation against a deck like Dracotail. We have Double Banish with Masquerena, force them to discard a card. We can destroy a card, negate anything. We can negate a special summon, and we can also wipe away their entire field. In addition to that, we have Max C. 7 disruption plus the C. In response to Malulu's normal summon, we're going to activate Masquerena to make a Little Knight. Impulse will negate the Malulu quick effect to fuse. We don't have a Femina. Negate. And now we are making Little Knight. Little Knight, banish away the Malulu. Now we have 5 disruptions left. Key 2, Purification, negate the effect. Damn, too much. 1 and 1. Key 2, Retaliating C. And now, how are we going to deal with that Retaliating C? Any card sent to the grave is banished instead. We are fusing on Resolution. Say goodbye to the Frixel and Urgula effect. Now, in response to the Lucius, we're going to be using the Gulamel. Now, you could chain link block the Gulamel with any other card effect, but if we read the Retaliating C, it says, is it from field to grave or anything to the grave gets banished instead? Obviously, it's anything, which means Max C would not be activatable to chain link block the Gulamel, which would have been the play. Femina, in response, chain the Max C. Now, is it correct to say that Retaliating C did nothing? It ensured that Urgula and Frixel did not trigger and are banished. You don't want Urgula banished, so it did something. It wasn't a definitive winning card here, but it did put in some work. Rahu under Max C. Interesting. All right, we got to get the Urgula engraved from the deck. Urgula, there we go. Just as I said, we get to set Double Trap, and they do get 1 draw, but we get Double Trap. The Urgula is going to recycle back to Femina. Now our final forms of disruption will be negate a spell, banish from the grave, destroy any card in the field, fusion summon disruption into an Arthalion, and we also have Ghost Spell, negate an interaction with the grave. 5 disruption. Pre-prep. Bell, because the pre-prep could add a card from the grave. Add 1 ritual from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Negate. Bakiri, summon a Saji. Saji triggering, grabbing the prayers. And let's now ritual summon into the Flame Negate. Now, stopping this with Flame is massive. It's similar to using Impulse on it. It stops them gaining access to the Kusanagi to add back the ritual. You now have Armasa searching for our Murakumo. And now we're going to use Prayers. Prayers tribute off the Habakiri. We're going to use the Sting. What does this accomplish? Habakiri, when tributed, will search for a Mitsurugi card. And it triggers even if it's banished. And we're banishing it, so it's still going to trigger, right? No, it has to be in the original spot from where, if it gets tributed and it goes to a place, it has to be in that place to trigger. So even though if it's banished, it still triggers, it will not trigger because it's not in the original spot after it was tributed. Does that make sense? Gulamel, take out the Armasa. So this does successfully stop him from even activating the Habakiri. No Habakiri search. I'm gonna grab the Kusanagi with the resolution of the prayer, special summoning it. Add back the Mitsurugi ritual. So by negating the ritual, you try to stop them from accessing the Kusanagi to add it back, but we still had another way to add it back, as we now summon our Murakumo. Habakiri will finally now be able to trigger its effect as he stopped our other one from activating. Wipe away the entire field, adding a mirror from the deck. Let's now mirror using the Murakumo. Murakumo reborn back out. If you summon something with the prayers, it cannot attack directly. Is that the case with Kusanagi, right? This was summoned off of prayers, so this is not going for game with this card. We have Femina into Arthalion. This Arthalion has not activated yet. It's hard once returned to return cards back, so do get ready for that. Now we have to be careful. The Murakumo says when your opponent activates a card or effect, you could force them to discard a card or it's negated. So we have to put the worst effect on the highest chain link to ensure that the Murakumo does not negate it. We are triggering the Arthalion Engrave. We're activating Femina. We're activating Lucius. So Lucius, Gulamel. We wanted Gulamel to protect all these cards from being negated by the Murakumo. No Gulamel for you. But was that a mistake? Did we want Gulamel on the field? Or do we want better follow-up? Gulamel could further protect us from them potentially lethaling us this turn, but I think we felt safe enough with 2 Arthalions to be enough. So instead of better board presence to ensure we don't lose this turn, we felt that this would be enough to not lose, and then we have better follow-up instead. I say that makes sense. This worked out, and it definitely did. Little Knight is not triggering because you did not use a monster from the extra deck. That is immensely detrimental to us. Now, we do have the ability to force them to discard. We can negate anything with the Purification. We can pop a card on the field. This is pop a face-up card the opponent controls. We could also non-target wipe away their field. We could also banish the Little Knight. 5 forms of disruption. Force him to discard with the Lucius. Now, if you're Mitsurugi, you have to think, if he activates Kitsu and we don't want him to fuse on resolution, if we decide that is detrimental enough to our plays, we can chain Little Knight and use our Magatama to essentially ensure that we have no monster on the field on the resolution of Kitsu, thus he will not be able to fuse on resolution. And I say Magatama and Little Knight because Little Knight probably does not want to banish away our own Murakumo. Purification. Little Knight's getting chain link blocked. We're going to chain our Little Knight, banishing our own Little Knight plus their Little Knight. Chain Little Knight to banish away the Murakumo. We have to do something, and it's going to be the Purification. Tribute off Murakumo, negate and destroy Little Knight. Now, this Little Knight is still successfully banishing its original target, which was the Purification. Reborn Gulamel, and goodbye to the Purification, so no graveyard effect. Murakumo, chainlink blocked by Mirror, otherwise the Bell would have negated. Negate the Murakumo from reborning, but thanks to Mirror, we are good. Come back out, and now we have our field wipe. Let's wipe it. Now, is it worth it just to see if you have the option? Can we Magatama tribute off Murakumo to take out our own Little Knight so this does not fuse on resolution? Not that you'd want to do that. Tribute a Reptile, target one face-up card only that your opponent controls, so we can't stop this from fusing. And what? What was that? You timed out. Oh my God, this makes sense. We could have fused, we could have Rahu'd. What the? There are some sus losses in today's event. I don't know what's happening. We have some disconnects. We got some suspicious timeouts. Huh. We have Bell and Nibiru. Double disrupt we have to play through here. Track to add Luri. Now the Fiendsmith engine will be able to deal with Nibiru, but Engraver can be negated by the Bell. You could also negate the sequence with Bell, since it's trying to return the graveyard cards back in the deck. We're popping off with the Stellar. We're going, I thought we were going to maybe try to check Nibiru, not go all in to then get Nibiru. A Stellar summoning Sylvie. Sylvie searching for Witch of the White Forest. What is going on here? Engraver is going to be reborning. We're going to be holding on to the Bell. Let's further link this up. Woo! Surprise! Baron freaking DeFleur. What the heck? You thought that I was going to be going into a sequence. You thought that I was prepping for a Wave King Caesar, and now you got. That's it. You got outplayed. You should have dropped the Nibiru when we could have potentially made a Baron to floor. Now, this is banned in the TCG. Maybe he plays TCG and didn't expect this. Beansmith sequence, but we may get tricked here. Bell on sequence, Baron to floor, negate the Bell, and then we'll get Nibiru'd. Uh-oh, don't do it, it's a trap. He doesn't fall for it. Nope, I know you got something else. And you have to understand that you have this feeling that, well, you know, this is one swap face up, so it's not exactly true that if you don't negate that, then you will waste its once per turn negate, because you will still now be able to negate during their turn, where otherwise you would not be able to do so. Witch of the White Forest, searching for Diabels. Diabels send the field spell to special summon. We're going to trigger the Esteller since a spell was sent to the graveyard to activate a monster, thus it comes back. We have Curse of Diabel, further searching our deck for the Philia Diabel. Philia is now going to be searching for the Diablo Star Vengeance. And with that, we're going to banish a spell and trap, come forth and summon, but boost up, Nibiru, negate. Now that the Baron to floor has used up its negate, it during the standby phase could reborn a monster, and I'll count up the field once we potentially do that. Standby? Yes, what are we reborning? Sylvie, search our deck for a follow-up play. Now, what is the way here? The Diablo Star Vengeance will be able to target a card in the field and destroy it, and in addition to that, it could summon into another form of disruption. So we could push a card back, or we could synchro with the Poplar, so this is a double disruption card. We also have Droplet, we also have Impermanence, so we have 4 disruption. Yep. Piri, Reese, Map, grabbing the Cupsy. Cupsy is the best normal summon of Yummy. Imperm, negate. Now, why is this so good? Because you can't use a single hand trap to stop it. You Imperm, you Ash it, it still is gonna go full freaking combo. So with our field only being 4 disruption, using one of those 4 now down to 3, we still have to use another disruption on just the Cupsy. And we did. 2 disruption for Cupsy. Habakiri summon Saji. Saji searching for the Mitsurugi Ritual. Let's ritual it up into Murakumo. Now, I believe we cannot be destroyed by card effect. Is that the case? Monsters you control, all of them cannot be destroyed by Murakumo while you control 2 or more Diabel monsters. Diabel, so this will do nothing if it activates. Not saying he tried. He tried. You cheater. Nothing. All right. Is this during the battle phase also? Let's read this. This is only during the main phase could be synchro. So we're going to Forbidden Droplet. Now, this is, you want to use this in the damage step to force the attack to go through, because if you use it on the attack declaration, it can recall the attack and attack into something else. So it was in sub step 1 at the start of the damage step. Good choice. Well done on that. It's a small little detail that you want to make sure you go through with. Now we have 1 disruption left. That's it. The Poplar or the White Forest. Poplar could go into the Snake Eye Vengeance. We're still in the battle phase. Oh my gosh. What the heck? We did not expect that. We're losing? We're gonna lose? We're out of, we have no disruption. 0. What the? Oh my gosh. Crazy. Kagari, add back the Hornet Drones. Special on the drones. Let's go in the Cupsy Way. Cupsy Way, searching for the Cookie and Lollipo. Special summon the Lollipo. Return the Engraver back in the deck. Snatchy, play the field spell Minion. Minion can reborn a monster from the grave. Let's further make a Lollipo. Reborn 2 monsters from Engrave. We're going to be setting up a Herald of Arclight play as we now go into the Sarukat. Special summon our Cookie. Permanently reduce the Diabels. Let's further synchro into Cookie on the way to flip 2 monsters on the field face down. And then we make Sprite Elf. Elf, reborn back our level 2 synchro. Let's turn both of them into a little knight. Banish a card on the field or engrave. We returned 1 engraver, we banished the other. Sourcat, reborn. Oh, we have something. Lacrima, reborn Requiem. Summon from the deck. Lacrima or engraver. It's gonna go into a graver. Sure, so no Herald of Arclight. Now, what do we have here? The Sorrow Cat does have the ability of, during your opponent's main phase, we can perform a Synchro Summon using this card you control. And the Elf can reborn the Synchro Cookie, Cupsy, Yummy, whatever it is. And then in response to the opponent activating a card, he could reborn a level 1, which the Sorrow Cat could then synchro with to make the Herald of Arclight. We have the Little Knight, which will be able to banish. We have the Murakumo, which could wipe away the entire opposing field. Now, what we want to do is we want to Murakumo wipe their field before this flips face up. Because once it flips face up, it needs another Diabel, and then we flip up the other one, it's over. So do expect the prayers to wipe away their field. As I said, exactly as I said, wipe them out before they flip up. Get ready to wipe the field, no longer having destruction protection. This is absolute decimation. Wipe it. And then we want Elf to reborn the Yummy Synchro to be used with the Sorrow Cat. Oh boy. Engraver, reborn. Murakumo, force him to discard a card. And Elf, reborn. We're going to chain Sylvie to reborn itself onto the field. It will be negated. Cupsy is now going to be ready. In response to him activating anything, we'll reborn a level 1 to make the Herald of Arclight. Engraver. Now, we did not return back the sequence, but we make our Baron freaking to floor. What the... Made sure to not activate anything, to not allow the Cupsy to chain in response to Reborn from the grave. Little Knight is going to attempt to banish the Baron to floor. Baron to floor is going to negate and destroy. The Sorrow Cat ended up doing nothing. We can't make a level 11 Synchro. And now Gorilla is the one with 0 disruption. We're back-to-back defeating each other's fields. You beat my field, I beat your field. Baron to floor, wipe away the Murakumo. Now, this Baron to floor already activated to negate something, correct? So we don't have this as a disruption. The Diabels will be able to destroy a card in the field, and we do have the Woes, which could also flip the opposing field face down. That's double disruption, and this will only special summon if you control another Diabel monster. Do you get to summon for the extra deck? So it's just a single disruption. Standby phase. We have the Woes in response to the prayers. He wants to summon Murakumo to wipe away the fields. We're going into Silvera. Okay. So this will be the lower chain link. Silvera will be the higher chain link. You'll force him to discard a card so he does not flip your field face down. Then you're going to wipe away their entire field. And then we're going to chain the Vengeance to the Murakumo negating Silvera. Or we're going to hold the Murakumo to negate the Diablo Star Vengeance. So what do? We could choose which one we want to negate. What's it going to be? Do we negate Silvera or Diablo Star Vengeance? Him realizing, oh, he gets to choose what to negate. And I probably said, I don't want to negate Silvera, or did we actually legitimately time out? Is the timer lower than usual today? What's going on? Crimson Tear, send Engraver here. Now, what the heck did we accomplish here? Negate anything. We can also flip the field face down with the Diabel. We could destroy any card. We could then synchro into a disruption. We could also use the Silvera to negate anything. This is 5 disruption. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 disruption. Because of Ash. But we loss. Into the Hornet Drones. Vengeance. Destroy the token, summon a Poplar, which could synchro during their turn. Continually dealing with their body. The Snake Eye Vengeance will push the Marshmallow into the back row. Push it. We have 4 more disruption. Silvera is negating the card on the field. Negate. And now we're left with Ash, Diabel, and Baron to floor. Ash negate the Habakiri from searching the deck for any Mitsurugi card. And we still have Baron to floor, and we could still non-target flip the opposing field face down. Well, flipping down a Link 1 is not so good. Baron to floor, negate and destroy. Done. It's over. You did not beat our field, and we still have Diabel. When the opponent activates a card or a... Wait, it's not done. We still have the Habakiri. You what, mate? Mitsurugi Ritual. So with Diabel being our only form of disruption, how good will that be? We can non-target flip their field face down. What the? So why didn't we activate it? Well, you gotta think, what would happen? Chainlink 1, non-target wipe the field. Chainlink 2, summon a Silvera. Silvera won't even trigger, she'll just get destroyed. Now, there is another thing we could have done here. When they activate an effect to destroy your field, you could send a spell and trap card to the graveyard, special summon a Racilla. Racilla says, illusion and spellcaster synchros cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects. Did we oopsie? Did we not know it could do that? Because we could have been protected. Just on the illusion and spellcasters. Yeah. Why not? Why not summon it? Illusion, spellcaster, synchros, gain 500, and cannot be destroyed by Murakumo. Maybe we forgot. No one really knows that part of Racilla. Come forth, Diablo Star Vengeance. Engraver, return the Requiem back. Rusia, return the Diabel back. 800 life, blinking red. We have not committed to our normal summon yet. We have that Sylvie. We return back the Requiem so we can't equip to then get rid of the Murakumo. Murakumo does not have a way to tribute. Thus, the board wipe is not going to happen. We have the tails set up here, further making the Requiem. Requiem is going to be summoning from the deck. Crimson Tier, send the Tract here as we further make the Fiend's Myth sequence. Sequence, activate to fusion summon. Murakumo's not even bothering to, I guess he already activated. So he's done. There's nothing left. Engraver, reborn through the Fiend's Myth Lacrima. Requiem, be sent to the grave with the Engraver to get rid of the Murakumo. Open field, 9,400 damage. Finish him. Damn. No Azamina engine. All right, but besides the LZ Azamina, 1-1. Perry Reese for our Cupsy. Tricked him. I already have Cupsy, thus we don't finger the Ash. This is one of the great benefits of it. A lot of people have the big question of how do I use my hand traps? And I do want you to take note. Whenever they use a hand trap and the opponent does not negate the hand trap, figure out why. Was it just inherently a bad hand trap use? Did they bait them with the card effect? That's another benefit of good players is they throw out a bunch of bait and then they use a hand trap and they don't even bother negating it. So this in fact was not a good Ash. And I would argue that, was this kind of risky or what? Do you just save the Ash for the Cupsy Synchro? By the time they get to the Cupsy Synchro, this is when they would have it, and then they get to reborn the Snatchy and the Cupsy. And you have to think that if you're Ash in the Perry Reese map, you're cutting off their access to Cupsy, but are you? What are the chances of them having 1 in 11 different yummy monsters that are playable? Now, it's a Mitsurugi deck, so instead of playing 11 yummy monsters that could be summoned, they probably play 9. So is it good to negate a card that they could have 9 other cards to make your negate not great? I would say that's not good. And also, it's Mitsurugi. So I would focus my Ash on probably 2 things. Negating a Saji and negating a Cupsy Synchro. Cupsy Synchro and Saji, I think, are the better uses of Ash. And then things also change based off what else is in your hand. You have other hand traps. Generally, that's the great thing about playing so much hand traps is it's only difficult to use hand traps if you have very few in your hand. If your hand is filled to the brim with hand traps, you could, in many cases, just throw them out at any effect, and that could normally be the right answer. So in essence, if you're playing a crappy deck, but you fill it to the brim with hand traps, your deck automatically becomes good. What are we dealing with here? Oh my God. We are floodgated. Monsters from the deck in hand can't go to the grave or they get banished. We have an Omni Negate. They're untargetable, mate. We have double Little Knight Banish. We could wipe away the field with the Murakumo and force it to discard. They could also Yummy, flip our cards face down, destroy a monster, and Call by the Grave finger us. Damn. Pantheism is going to be drawing 2. Don't mind if I do. Pantheism is going to further activate in the graveyard to reveal 3 to randomly add one of the 3 that we revealed to the same card. And then Revolt is going to discard a Stormforth to reveal 3 Monarch monsters in addition to us revealing 3 Monarch spells. We now have Tessera activating Grave to special summon Edea from the deck. Let's now tribute summon for the ultimate card. This auto wins. What's it going to do? Let's just resolve it. Let's first Chainlink block it. Holy moly. We are choosing. We are looking at their extra deck. And are we banishing or are we sending to the grave 8 cards? 8 cards from the opponent's extra deck. So I think we were the ones to choose. Let me double check what makes us choose. You destroy it, then if it was a light monster, it was a light monster. Both monsters send as many. Now, if this card was tribute summoned by using a light monster, you choose the card the opponent must send. We chose to send all of these cards to the grave. Oh my Jesus. Now, it's pure Mitsurugi. So because it's pure Mitsurugi, they don't care about their extra deck as much. Not as detrimental as it would be against any other deck. Now, our own cards we chose, we're going to draw 2. Draw 1. Draw a second card, but then return a card back in the deck. We'll return back the Dogmatica Maximus. So what is the reason to play Monarch? That card. That's it. Zaborg Mega Monarch is why you play this deck. He's done? Really? You don't want to play? Okay. Aramasa grabbing the Habakiri. Habakiri, someone for the deck, Saji. Saji going to be dodging an Impermanence or a Veiler. Now, what we're dealing with is the ability to negate anything, destroy a face-up card. We're going to be able to wipe away the opposing field if we have Murakumo. Where's Murakumo? It's under the Photon Lord. Photon Lord is also going to be able to negate a monster effect. We have Masquerena, which is going to double link it off. Let's see what's good. Nadir, Servant, Purification, Negate. It's not a cost to send the monster from the extra deck to the grave. Negate with red reboot. No Purification for you. Flip it back down and set an Impulse in the deck. Oh my Jesus. As we successfully send Garura to draw a free card here. Futsu reborn back. Call by the Grave, finger the Futsu. Now we can try to reborn it back with the prayers. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Now, how would we word this card to ensure that it still does not search? You would have to change it. It would have to say, special summon this card, then add a Mitsurugi card from your deck to your hand. Since it's add, then special summon, even though we're summoning it through a different method, it's still going to add. Fingering nothing, successfully adding, says it's add, then special summon. Randomly drawing. Masquerena is going to be linking off with our Photon Lord. Now, what's interesting here is if we click into the graveyard, we could see that the Murakumo is still considered properly summoned. Even though it was used as an Xyz material and now sent to the graveyard, it remembers that it was properly summoned. Which is important to reborn it back with the Futsu. Maximus, Murakumo, reborn. So, you know, it's like weird, right? Like you were properly summoned and then used as an Xyz material, then sent to the grave, then you're still rebornable. Foolish Burial. Send the Tessera. Tessera is going to trigger to summon from the deck an Edea. Futsu further attempting to reborn the Murakumo back onto the field. Come forth. Now, has the Murakumo activated the board wipe yet? It has not. So this is the perfect opportunity to wipe them up. Clean up their field, further trigger the Futsu to reborn even more monsters from our own grave. That's too much. That's way too much. Even red rebooting the Purification, it did not work out. Let's go. Let's go. A bounce is definitely scary. We completely turned off the turn with a Dimension Shifter, reasonably, right? Any card sent to the grave is going to be banished instead. What the hell? Let's Saji searching for the ritual as Morph has no hand traps whatsoever. Now, the cope could be that maybe since it's pure Mitsurugi, they don't have enough gas to go full lethal in one turn. That should not be the case. They should be able to. Mitsurugi Ritual, even if the monsters are banished, they're still going to trigger. They're still going to be able to reborn back. In fact, this is now no longer bellable. And hey, not enough, right? Well, we saw Murakumo for game. Murakumo tributed. Do not summon the Murakumo, even though it's banished here. And then Murakumo summoned through its own effect. It is able to attack directly. Lethal damage. Damn. Not a cool duel. Freaking Dimension Shifter stole it. Lucius grab Femina. We'll speed this up. If you're sick of Dracotail, Vanquish Soul will save us, maybe. I was reading. I was watching some Vanquish Soul versus Dracotail duels, and there was a recent one where Vanquish Soul was already heavily hit by the ban list. And I was reading a YouTube comment, and they said, I remember when it was considered to be impossible for Dracotail to beat Vanquish Soul when they were both released at full power, which is essentially what we're getting in Master Duel. So according to at least that one TCG player and the many people that upvoted that comment, they believe that it's almost impossible for Dracotail to beat Vanquish Soul, which will be happening in 3 days. In 3 days, an unbeatable matchup for Dracotail is supposedly coming out. Let's go. Set Flame Pass. What's so funny is the more Urgula you play, the better you perform in the mirror match. But then, the more likely you brick. The players that are playing triple Urgula are super prepared for the mirror match, but then are super bricking. Ash, negate the flame. Let's get to it. Let's do it. Setting up the Kitu Dracotail, grabbing. We have the Lucius. Valor, negate the Lucius. As the Rahu Dracotail follow up Ash, now we're going to want to focus on recycling our Ash Blossoms. Cut off their access to the trap. We don't want them to recycle the trap, and you want to be recycling the Ash. Nibiru, not good in the mirror match. So we're only playing Nibiru because we're thinking about non-Dracotail matchups. And what the heck, that was a quick 2-0. Damn. All right. That was something. Begin. Huh? Well, Lee has no play. All right, but we have 5 hand traps. Hit him with the Fool Loss, so he could Ash it, and then we have Max freaking C. Kaiba Man the Legend lets your opponent know that you are on 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons. Oh boy. Imperm, negate the barrel. Cutting off or hoping to cut off access to the Drill Beam. So what we're hoping here is that they don't have 4 other cards. They don't already have the other Primite loads and the 1 Drill Beam. Generally, only 1 Drill Beam's played alongside the 3 loads. We have the Mausoleum additionally summoning our Kaiba Man the Legend. On summon, you must reveal 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons. And then you could special summon a Blue Eyes. In response, we got Maxia, of course, to gain a drawn card off of that. And remember, this is turn 2. So we got to think about going for lethal damage here. 3,600. Now, don't we have the new card that makes this not 3,600? You can attack for 25, and then we could summon the new Ancient Fairy. Do we play it? It's this one. 33. So 25 plus 33, that is 5,800 damage mate, as this can attack while in defense. Still not enough for lethal, though. Kaiba Man triggering to search for the Blue Eyes Chaos Max. We're going to be reborning a Blue Eyes attempting to do so, that is, as the Impulse negates. Now, by using Impulse, we now cannot use Light, Earth, and Wind for the rest of the duel. Now, because it's not lethal damage, we don't even bother summoning the new Ancient Fairy. It's not even that new anymore. I just haven't seen it. A GG is going to be our normal summon. As what do we have here? We can negate a card in grave, which will likely not be a disruption, but it will go into something that could pop back row or be turning into an Omni Negate. So that'll be the one disruption. We could non-target pop multiple cards in the field. We could pop up to freaking 3 with the Majesty. We also have Ash Blossom, triple disruption. Lingribo will now negate the Majesty. That's a problem. We're going to summon the backup. Ash is going to negate the backup as we have 2 more disruption left. What's good from here as we further link this up into a Dark. Dark will try to steal a Dark monster from the graveyard, or Dark will be searching in the damage step. What are you searching for? Nothing, because this negates the activation, where normally this can't negate anything because it's not going to be relevant in a duel against Maliss. You did the one play that makes this relevant. What other card could this have negated? I don't know. What else activates in the grave? That was it. Didn't even have to jump off with Spirit Dragon. That's crazy. Now, to be fair, this normally is never activating. But damn, we should have expected it. To battle, Baldrake on the attack. Let's block that, as we still have enough for lethal damage. White Lightning! Damn. All right. He's ready for... now, why play Blue Eyes now? Maiden became unlimited. So we are applying the new banlist early, and then that also should be a huge signal for new Blue Eyes support coming out in 3 days. So he's hyped. He's ready. Now, if you lose game 1, how do you get back at Blue Eyes? Dimension Shifter is the way. You just floodgate them. They can't use Veiler. They can't use most of their effects. No graveyard for you. Let's go. And just like that, can't Veiler. We're going to chain Fualos. The new pack tournament is this Thursday. New Year anniversary. New pack with Vanquish Soul and K9. New Dark Magician structure deck, I'm thinking. New Blue Eyes structure deck, I'm thinking. Yeah, we lost a D-Shifter. What the? Turn 1 pass. No play. Ain't no way. Now, Blue Eyes bricked. Yeah, clearly. Obviously it did. The new Blue Eyes card that should be coming out this Thursday is 3 additional 1-card combos added to the deck. Someone was asking earlier, DK, what would you add to Triple D to make the deck better? Obviously, I had to go for, I want more 1-card combos. Well, that's exactly what Blue Eyes is potentially getting this Thursday. Simply send itself to the graveyard, and not only is it a 1-card combo to make the deck more consistent, it also increases your power ceiling. It much more consistently allows you to summon the Hieratic Seal on top of whatever field you make, because it reborns itself from the graveyard as an additional dragon. And it's not a level 8 dragon, so you're not going into something like a Spirit Dragon, but a Hieratic Seal would be the way. And it's not even out in TCG nor OCG. It would be only in Master Duel. Master Duel exclusive this week. Hopefully. 2-1. Let's go. Lucius for our Femina. What has been going on with Voiceless? Well, I would assume similar to Orchist, it does not enjoy its back row being destroyed by the Urgulas, by the Gulamels. Anytime where there's going to be a prevalent top-tier deck wiping out back row, Voiceless Voice and a deck like Orchis will suffer. We also have the Flame, randomly negating our spells in the back row. Our main spell being the Barrier, ensuring that our monsters would become untargetable. And also, the cards like Pan and the Malulu have non-target negate and destroy. Now, late to the freaking party, off the top of the deck, Retaliating Sea is now going to be useless. Let's start off with the Barrier. Barrier is going to attempt to search our deck as the Flame will negate. Now, very important, we're waiting for the activation of the effect, not the activation of the card, thus the other Barrier is going to be no good. Mitsurugi Voiceless. Ash on Saji is, I would agree with that, because half of Mitsurugi Ritual is not ashable. If Mitsurugi Ritual was always ashable, no matter what part of the effect you activated, then I would save it for that. Gulamel is here. Urgula now taking out the back row, and I guess this exactly shows why Voiceless Voice has fallen off. And to further show that, he's main decking a side deck card to help against a bad matchup. Oh boy. The Retaliating Seed needed to be a red reboot. Now, he could be playing both. Let's go. Prayers in the draw phase to play around the Droll that he does not have. Habakiri summon Saji. What the heck are we doing? This is madness. The Abow's gonna come back. Don't we need a card in hand to use the Abow? You have to discard a card, but we could search for one with the prayers if we want to. All right, that is definitely something. Let's talk about this. This is a form of disruption, as it can target a card and destroy it, or summon from the deck into a disruption. This will negate anything. We could double Little Night Banish. We don't have any weird lingering effects stopping us from doing that. In addition to that, we could Murakumo wipe their board and then force them to discard a card. The Abow could reborn the Desiree, and I mean, I guess we want the Ignumde to do that, right? We're going to reborn the Ignumde to then reborn it, and then the Desiree will be able to negate anything on the field, multiple cards on the field. Let's see how this plays out, because we do need to have a card in the hand, which if that gets stopped, we're going to be messed up. And in addition to all that, this is ensuring that light monsters cannot be targeted by any card effects whatsoever, not even for attacks. Let's see. Negate. Now, does this negate the activation? I think it's the activation. Activation negate, another Rahu will be activatable this turn. So if we could set one from the deck, we're good. What else we have? Cartesia. Cartesia with the key to Dracotail on the resolution and grabbing the Malulu. We are now going to non-target negate with Malulu. That's a problem. We don't have a card in hand to even use the Abow. And we're targeting the Desiree with the Arthalion, which the Abow needs a card in hand to discard to reborn Ignumde, and then on a separate chain, activate Ignumde to reborn the Desiree. So that whole play is gone. And Malulu doesn't tell you what it's negating until it's too late. We're going to negate the Masquerina, right? Masquerina now negated. Skull Guardian already activated. Desiree play is gone. We're going to use the Radiance to take out the Rahu, because Ricky knows another copy of Rahu is activatable even though it was negated this turn. Now, I'm not saying it's a misplay to negate with the Skull Guardian, but because negating a Key2 or Rahu activation ensures another one's activatable, that's why I would prefer my activation negate. I know this well because I play Wave King Caesar a lot. I save the Wave King Caesar if I can for a Malulu, for a Cartesia, for a Femina. Negating the activation of those cards is much more beneficial than negating the activation of a Rahu or Key2. Again, only if you could afford to do so, because through a Key2 or Rahu being resolved, they could just use a Malulu or a Pan to possibly negate and or destroy whatever card you're using that chose to not negate. Does that make sense? Secretarion ensures that only spellcasters and dragons are not activatable. Prayers, reborn the Murakumo. We couldn't tribute to get both effects here. So the Abow is just no good. We were able to non-target wipe out the field, but what is Abow doing? Trying to negate the Arthalion from being reborn. We could discard a card to ensure it does reborn. We do discard the Horn. Abow doing nothing. Damn. And our third Rahu. The first Rahu got negated. The second Rahu got destroyed. And the third Rahu now goes through. Say goodbye to the Barrier of the Do you know what was about to happen? If he did not take out the Abao states during your standby phase, draw cards equal to the number of different monster types in your graveyard, then place cards from your hand on the bottom of the deck in any order equal to the number of cards you drew. You get a full custom hand, draw exactly what you want. Urgula, recycle, chain the Gulamel to take out the Skull Guardian. Now the Ritual Spell Engrave can trigger off of this. While you control low, and a light ritual, I'm reading the wrong card here. You don't have the ritual spell Engrave. Oh crap, where is it? No ritual spell to trigger. Oops. Tallying C, search for Max C, go into a Moon of the Closed Heaven, come to me, and then he returned back our Desiree, could just fully go into our Fiendsmith plays again. The Fiendsmith plays forever recycle themselves by returning back in the extra deck and back in the deck. Let's recycle back the sequence, but now he's chaining Femina. We are going to chain link block the Gulamel. Do not allow Gulamel to destroy a card in the field for free. And then we're going to use Max C to potentially chain link block. Now, this is smart. If the opponent is activating a monster effect to summon itself or summon another monster of the same type as the monster activating, you on the higher chain link summon a Mysterion. Mysterion must be on the field for the resolution of the effect resolving the summon. It does not have to witness the activation of the card though. So even though the Engraver activated when there was no Mysterion, Mysterion just has to witness the Engraver summoning itself or the Engraver summoning a Fiend, and then it's gonna not banish just the Engraver, it's gonna also banish the Crimson Tear. All the Fiends are gonna get banished here. There you go. Chain link to Mysterion. Goodbye to the whole field. Now, obviously, if this card was already on the field, we would not have activated Engraver. That's why you surprise them. And that's why some of these cards state that they have to summon a Dracotail, but a card like Femina does not say it has to summon a Dracotail. So that's the perfect card to go into this play. We don't have a way to trigger the Murakumo. And the Maxi is activatable. We could force them to discard a card. Come forth, Cartesia, into Typhon. We were just talking about Typhon. Typhon is here. Return back the Murakumo. It's a brick. It's nothing. We did not see Typhon coming. If we saw it coming, we would have max-seed. And if we max-seed, we feared that they would have just chained Cartesia. Wow. That's crazy. A-okay, I commend you for that crazy turn one play. I very much enjoyed the Agnumde, Reborn, and then put it back in the grave, then set up the Abao. Unfortunately, we had this weird point where the prayers could either reborn or add a card from the deck to the hand. We couldn't do both because we didn't have a reptile. So we had to choose, do we cut off access to the Murakumo or do we cut off access to activate the Abao? We could use the Abao to reborn the Murakumo, but we wanted the Abao to reborn the Agnumde. So, you know, there was a bit of a pain point there, but beyond that, I did very much enjoy your field. Let's keep on going. Let's go. Lucius, Ash, negate. I am not familiar with really seeing Primate Fusion see play. It is a regular normal spell, not a quick play. Fusion summon. What does the fusion do? You are going to use materials from your field, graveyard, or banishment you get to use. You have to include a normal monster to use this. You can also banish this card from your graveyard to add level 5 or higher Primate from your deck or graveyard to your hand. I assume we don't use that effect. We just Primate Fuse. And what we fuse into is this Primate Dragon Nether Bazurlius. Gain 1,000 for each normal monster. Purge, negate, the key to. Now, Purge could have been used instead on the Dracotail Flame or the Dracotail Horn. We'll read the fusion once it actually comes out. What is good here? Barrel on summon, setting up the Lordy Load, which the flame can negate, or the flame can negate the fusion. We are going to not wait for the Drill Beam, because the Drill Beam, once it goes to the graveyard, if you have a normal monster, and the barrel can recycle off of the normal monster, then the Drill Beam is continually recycling itself back in the field. And even on the initial activation here, because we have a barrel, if you were to use it, we just reset it back in the field. So it is better to cut off their access to a card they likely only play one of. Spirit Dragon, Reborn, Blue Eyes White Dragon. Now, what does Unix even have? No Femina, no background card activatable, 0 disruption, and we don't even use the Primite Fusion? What's going on? Now, we have to remember the Purge does disable our use of Dark Water and Fire for the rest of the duel. How relevant is that? Dark Water Fire, Dark Water Fire, Dark Water Fire, Dark Water Fire. Nothing. It would turn off Little Knight, which we don't even play. Now, Ash would be a big one if we had Ash. And you should take that knowledge as the opposing player. Whenever they use Impulse in the hand, stop playing around Nibiru. It's not activatable. They activate Purge. Ash is no longer activatable. Don't play around that anymore. Take out the Lordy Load, set up the Key-2 as we non-target pop with the Urgula. I don't know what happened here. You know, we had no way to bridge into the Blue Eyes plays, and that's how it be. And that's why they are giving us a new Blue Eyes to further give us more one-card combo plays to go into the Blue Eyes plays. Shadow Dracotail. That means we're playing the very healthy card of Window. Yep, Floodgate. Each player can only special summon once per turn. We have Spear with Eyes of Blue. Let me close this real quick. As we now Wishes, further searching for the Roar and the Sage. So right now we have 3 Wishes, 3 Sage, 3 Maiden. That's 9 cards. And then we're going to have the 3 new Blue Eyes that searches for Sage and Maiden. We'll have 12 one-card starters. Well, the Wishes being a 1.5 card. Maxi in response to the Spirit trying to Reborn. Ash, Negate, Fool Loss, Mate. You even though the Fool Loss would not be drawing, I do think at the moment where you want to activate Maxi, you should try to bait with the Fool Loss. Come forth, Blue Eyes. No draw for you. Maiden, it's going to be setting up the True Light. True Light further setting up the Majesty to non-target pop. Wishes will be equipping. We all remember when Blue Eyes was top tier, we said that Fool Loss didn't really affect the deck as much. And as you can see, even under Fool Loss, they got 1 draw. We have the ability to negate anything. Could Drill Beam, negate anything again. Could Majesty, non-target pop. How many cards? 1 card. Could Imperb, negate. 4 Disruption, Mate. Let's go. Shadow Dracotail for the Window. And then also the Shadows themselves having good plays. Or, Beast Draw card being the good play. Blue Eyes is ready. With the Drill Beam, we can negate anything. Key 2, do we negate and banish? Yes, we do. Negate. That's it. Scooping to a Drill Beam. Now, a lot of people forget the passive effect of Blue Eyes. I don't. I fear this. I hate this because I enjoy playing decks like Ritual Beast. I have now recently picked up Triple D. I can't Pendulum Summon if this is on the field because neither player could special summon 2 or more monsters at the same freaking time, which not even the Blue Eyes player realizes is negatively affecting the opponent when it is. Let's go. Overframe is crazy cope. I have to find the article that I keep referencing. They are changing a Blue Eyes pack or Blue Eyes structure deck, which means that they are going to give new Blue Eyes cards. And what Blue Eyes cards can they give that's not the Overframe? They don't have to literally give us the Overframe itself, but the cards that are Overframed without the Overframe we could be getting. Is that really that crazy to think? Really? Like Maiden got unlimited. They changed the Blue Eyes structure deck in game. You're not seeing what I'm seeing? We do have Malulu for non-target negate, plus the fusion it provides. Could draw a card with the Squamata by sending the Beast. We have Horn to return a monster back. Triple Disruption. Sage, Search, Maiden. Horn, return the Sage back. Go Spell, Negate. Now Malulu, non-target negate with sending the Beast, drawing a card. Let's see what happens here. Malulu is going in right here, right now. Drill Beam is negating. Ain't no way. Just like that, our double disruption on the Malulu are down to 0. And we do have Fua loss. Wow. Blue Eyes is clapping. Is Blue Eyes going to be super top tier with the new Blue Eyes or what? Wishes equip onto the Blue Eyes, which we could recycle the impermanence if we go into the Tyrant Dragon. And that's exactly what we're doing. At the end of the damage step, reset the imperm. And we have Majesty. Negate a monster, non-target pop, one card in the field. Double disruption. Setting, Squamata passing, Pan and Flame both being bricks. When you think about it, Dracotail plays a lot of bricks. 3 traps are bricks. They usually play 1 Pan. You can play 2 to 3 Urgula. It's like 7 bricks that just do absolutely nothing. Drill Beam is so over. Holy moly. In fact, what the? Squamata on flip. Target a monster, destroy. Now, the True Light states you cannot target my Blue Eyes. Spirit Dragon. As we further double Spirit Dragon. Non-target pop. Imperm negate. Negate anything with Drill Beam. We have negate anything with the Ultimate Spirit. And we also have the Cipher Dragon, which will be off of the Crimson to further negate any monster. 5 disruption. And crazy board presence. We're not even done. Okay, we have that ready for the Drill Beam. Yeah. Negate anything, negate a monster, negate anything, pop anything. Nuts. And this is about to become way better. Thank you, YouTube, for watching the top 16 as we now advance into the top 8 grand finale and top decks in the very next video. Let's go.